Hey y'all, how's it going? Aggrofiend here, and today we got some balancing changes. June 20th, 2022, balance change list. Now, we're going to go over what it means for survivors, what it means for the demon, and what are my opinions on all of these changes, and maybe possibly my opinion on why they did this. Now, everything here is an opinion, my opinion. So, with that being said, like, comment, subscribe. Let's jump in. So we're starting off with survivors, just general. First one is Hunter's stamina regeneration changed from 35 stamina points per second to 20 stamina points per second. So immediately going after the hunters. And I think a lot of this is going after hunters that I read through from what I could see. Revive from bleeding out state time changed from 3 seconds to 4 seconds. Now, I don't know if that's, I don't see that as something that needed to be done because it's more of an animation issue on the bleeding out, I believe, than anything. There's not a whole lot to say about that, but the animation it's hard to explain unless you've played the game. You know what I mean if you played the game. Stamina upgrade level 4, stamina cost reduction percent changed from 50% to 40%. Now, as far as I know, when you're getting the pink F, hunters are the only ones that can go 4 in stamina. So this looks like a direct nerf to them as well. Going from 50% to 40%, that's pretty significant. Boss headshot damage multiplier. It's not a whole lot, but then again, 0.15 probably can be quite a bit. So what is that, like a 15% nerf or so to headshot damages? Again, really going after the hunters and their headshot damage. I know multiple times that my Evil Ash has been 2, maybe 3 shot. I know Elagos has had a single shot done to him, and he's dead. Henrietta, same thing, 2, 3 shots to the head. So really going after that hunter headshot build, the hunters just being able to completely wipe things out. So making the bosses a little more resistant to the headshot damage. Now I like that. Sounds good. Overall, the general changes look pretty good. Hunters can already have 7 dodges max, I believe. So this is going to say, hey, when you run out, it's going to regen slower. So basically, they're going to have to be a little more sparing. They can't just spam it. The revive on the bleeding out again. I think it's an animation issue. Stamina upgrade. Yes, that's fantastic. So, and then headshot damage multiplier, Henrietta, Elagos, Ash. I love they brought all that down 0.15. Maybe they'll survive a little longer. So, character abilities. Leader Ash, the El Jefe. Aura range bonus damage changed from 10% to 15%. That's a good buff. Now, I always felt that Leader Ash was a little weak, right? And I definitely think he needed to bring more to the fight. He needed to bring more in with what he was doing. Me and a friend of mine have tested him, and this right here looks fantastic. I love that he has a 15% added bonus. So that allows him to be more useful when getting dismembers to keep El Jefe Grande running and keep that going and so on and so forth. So more damage, more buffs to the team. Leader Ash is looking really good right now. He's really probably one of the strongest leaders out there, especially when I read some of the other ones, some of the other changes coming. So Annie Howitzer, her aura bonus range changed. Her ranged damage changed from 10 to 25. Now they gave her a good range buff. What that is Annie can sit back with a hunter and sit behind with like a hunter and support, or just sit back with a support while two melees are in there just going to town with her aura ability, and then that gives that extra 15% damage to, range damage with the support, and her allowing them to stay back and allowing to have the fight on 2 different fields right there and being able to rotate around the outside. I like that she got a little more damage on her ranged. That's fantastic. That helps out. Like I said, that helps out supports and so on and so forth. That also makes a warrior getting a hunting rifle or something big that makes them able to makes them to actually be useful when using a weapon as well. Lord Arthur. Now here's a nerf, and I think he needed a nerf. 30% was insane. You put a Lord Arthur in there with 2 warriors with a Henry and an Ash, and Lord's Wrath goes off and everything just dies. I mean, it's insane. So melee bonus damage changed from 30% to 20%. Definitely like that change. I definitely think it was a much needed change. We'll see how it plays out from then on in there, and because everything else still hits really, really hard. So now these next ones are some big ones. Warrior Ash, Shield Blast. Shield damage explosion changed from 200 to 125. I agree wholeheartedly with that. Reason being is Scotty's Q is 100 damage, and it's on a cooldown. So if you're going to put something with 100 damage on a cooldown, why would you give somebody 200 damage in an AoE on a passive? Should be flip-flopped, right? Scotty should do 200 on a cooldown. Ash should only do 100 when it comes to being on a passive. So, I really didn't understand why they did the why they had the more damage on when they have more damage on a passive. So, Wise Man's Potion. Duration changed from 25 seconds to 20 seconds. Okay, so they dropped it to where it lasts 5 seconds less. Cooldown changed from 60 to 80 seconds. Takes 20 seconds more for it to come back. And damage reduction changed from 50% to 30%. Nerfed it by 20%. That's huge. You get it less often. It's a shorter use time. And it reduces less damage. That just dropped his survivability immensely. It also means that when you pop a boss or you overwhelm them, they can't just pop Wise Man's Potion and stay in your face and until you die. So they're gonna have to be sparing with that. Hunter Ash, Exorcist, cooldown change from 60 to 90. I don't know how I feel about that. I play Hunter Ash a lot. The 60 seconds seems fair, especially since the Warlord rush meta and the rushdown meta is still here. And he was a really good counter to that. I made a video about that. To where using him to stop the early game rush and so on and so forth, and it's great. It works fine. So I don't know how I feel. 30 seconds is a long time. So I mean that could give them one more time to get one more unit that you have to deal with. So I don't know if I agree with that. Now the Infernal Energy Reduction percentage changed from 15% to 20%. That's fine. I agree with that. That's a nice change. Nothing huge, so I'm not going to dwell on that too much. But that 60 to 90, I think that really, really does hurt for early game rushdown strategies. Moving on. Ed Getley, it's a trap. Cooldown change from 60 to 90 seconds. Now, I like this because being able to run every 60 seconds for 40 seconds is a little ridiculous, especially when you can loot in air. All he's got to do is pop his ability, run the buildings, and then come back to the start and then go through them. Literally, if the demon jumps ahead of you and sets traps out with an Ed, you're never going to get any kind of trap damage or any kind of trap pressure. So I like the ability to, I like that they're increasing it by 30 seconds because you literally can move spot. It's going to slow them down. He'll still be able to do it, but it's going to slow them down moving spot to spot to spot to spot to loot. And eventually the demon might be able to catch up. So the collector, increased probability to find higher rarity loot boxes. Love it. I've played with Ed several times. I've played with an Ed in my lobby several times, and it feels like his collector ability just doesn't work. Doesn't feel like there's anything there. It feels like a normal game. So I'm excited to see if maybe that right there, they didn't say a percentage, if it actually makes a difference. So I'm excited to play with Ed. Kelly, Battle Frenzy. Buff X stack changed from 2% to 1%. Okay. Before they did this balance change right here, I think they should have fixed her being broken first. Unless she's working how they intended. The only thing I have that I'm worried about with these buffs and everything and these nerfs is that they didn't fix anything broken, and there's no sense to change the numbers until you fix what's broken. Like a 255 balance bar damage on the blue hunting rifle, and Kelly's bleed that's supposed to only be on her range stacking to her melee. And I think it's Leader Ash's fear resistance aura is like map wide. There's so many things that are broken right now. But we'll see how that 2% to 1% does, even with her being broken right now. So, Cheryl, healing aura when drinking Shimp's range changed from 6 meters to 5 meters. All you Cheryl mains out there, you're gonna have to get a little closer to your teammates. It'll bring the Cheryl into the fight a little bit more, but 1 meter's not a whole huge difference. So it's not like Pablo or Ash where you have to literally be right on top of somebody, shoving the cola down their throat for them to take it. So we'll see how it does for her. So we'll go down into skills. Now this right here is all Hunter. This is trying to combat the one-shot meta. This is trying to combat the I got a crossbow because I'm Ed and I'm going to do 5,000 damage to your headshot. This is the I'm going to pick up a blunderbuss and blow you away type thing. Or, second shot on a hunting rifle, so on and so forth. They're trying to combat the doing 2,000, 3,000, 4,000 damage in a single headshot. So last chance went from 30% to 20%. 10% less damage. That's good. And then deadly up close went from 25 to 20%. So now we're taking 25% damage from them. So them being able to walk up and just shoot something, get real close and shoot something in the head, just lost 25% of its damage. I don't know about y'all, but, 25% of 2,000 still kills everything. And 25% less of 2,000, sorry, still kills everything. You better cut that shit in half. I don't know what to say. It's still a lot of damage because hunters get a 50% range boost anyways. So, and the damage numbers on the weapons are still stupid high. Like a blunderbuss is like 240 or 250. That's ridiculous. You take 250 and start multiplying it by 50, giving it 50% and then giving it another 30% and then stacking this and then stacking that and giving another 20. I mean, it's still going to hit for like 1,800. So we just dropped it from what, 2,300 to 1,800. So that's still 3 shots and a boss is dead. I don't know how they deal with hunters. I've already said I think they need to nerf the weapon damage and not nerf the percentages yet. Nerf the weapon damage, then the percentage. And then if everybody's like, oh, well, a warrior can't pick up a blunderbuss and fight with it. A warrior's a melee character. You don't need a ranged weapon. Pick up a pistol and stun stuff. Don't worry about doing damage. I think people are so worried about doing damage with ranged weapons, and they're not ranged characters. Oh, my leader can't pick up a hunting rifle. Pick up a shotgun. You're a leader. You're doing 100. You're doing what the weapon says. That's plenty. So, anyways. So that's them trying to combat the hunters. I like it. I like the changes so far because I'm tired of my demon. Now I play more survivor than I do demon, but I'm tired of my boss demon dying in 2 shots at like level 5. So here's the fun stuff: Kandarian demon. Kandarian demon general. I don't understand why they buffed. I don't understand why they buffed the demon. The rushdown strategy is still strong. Now, the balance bar stuff that's coming up, I agree with. But some of this other stuff, yeah, I don't know. Infernal energy regeneration changed from 15 points per second to 20 points per second during the Necronomicon phase. I think that's the phase after the Dark Ones. So you get more energy. They're just trying to help you in the game. You got 2 minutes. Okay. Seems fair. Not really. Because you can already spam your stuff and beat the hell out of the book. So now you're just going to be able to spam even more things and beat the hell out of the book. Yeah, I'm yes and no on the fence about that one. Skeleton Elite Arms health was changed from 100 to 200. So I guess lopping off the Necromancer's Elite's arms is going to be harder. Okay, I can see that. I don't use many elites. I know people that do use elites. Seems okay, I guess. I mean, just made them double strength. So just have to play with it and see how it goes. Possession level 5, extra health of possessed units changed from 40 to 50%. Cool. Possession to other survivor or possessing units that were already beefy just got 10% beefier. That seems excessive. Think about how hard it is to kill a Warlord basic. And they're rushing you down. Once they finally get to level 5, they got 10% more now. Now your late game is going to be even harder. Whew, that's rough. You know, Warlord is actually better at possessing stuff than the Puppeteer, who's supposed to be a possession-based class. That's hard for me to swallow. I love Puppeteer. Possessed survivor headshot bonus multiplier to other survivors changed from 1.7 to 1.2. I like that. I like that the headshot bonus is down. You may not drop them as fast. That's fine. These are pretty big here, I think. Possessed elite deadite health. I think that's the Warlord's elite. Changed from 2,800 to 3,000. That's a big beefy boy. Possessed elite skeleton health changed from 2,000 to 2,250. They're not huge numbers. It just may take one more swipe from an Ash or one more swipe from a Scotty, considering they're still doing 400, 500, 600, 800 damage, depending on what weapon they have. So it's not a huge change, but I understand them. So they're trying to make the elites a little more playable instead of just the basics. So, and then possessed berserker health changed from 1,300 to 1,500. So that's going to be your that's the basics for the Puppeteer. So the Puppeteer's basics just got like 200 health beefier. Again, not a whole hell of a lot, but you start stacking reductions to your possessed evil units and so on. And this is only when you're possessing them as well. Excuse me. Only when you're possessing them. So, card possession maintain energy cost change from 0.5 a second to 0.3 a second. I like it. And card possession energy cost changed from 100 to 600. Sweet. That means we can start taking cars from survivors a whole lot more, causing them to break faster. It was kind of BS that it was 100 energy to possess a freaking car when they have so access to so many of them. And increased arm dismemberment resistance for the elite skeletons. There we go on the arms again. So you have double the health of the arms, plus you have resistance. So we'll see how that goes. So overall, Warlord elites got more health, Necromancer elites got more health, and Puppeteer basics got more health. Little bit of infernal energy type things going on with the card possessions and the Necronomicon stage. Extra health for possessed units, so make them survive a little longer. Because there were a lot of times that you'll possess something, get a single hit, and then you're dead. If the team is talking, I'll get into that in just a second. Check this out. Last stuff. Specifics for Warlord. Possessed Deadites stun time changes. So this is to the balance bar issue. Now, I have been on the receiving end of I get one swing and I'm balance barred. I have been on the giving end of they possess something and before they can even swing, the balance bar goes off and they're just stuck. So they're dropping the basic units and the elite units on the Deadites, on the Warlord, from 1.5 to 1 seconds, and the boss from 2 seconds to 1.5. So they just made everything stun a lot less. That means as soon as you stun them, you better kill them really fast because you only got a second. You got 1 second and they're coming back and they'll start swinging. I like that. I like that. That 1.5 seconds is a long ass time. And then their balance bar change. So the basics went up 300 to 400, elite from 525 to 625, and boss from 800 to 900. So if you notice balance bar stuff on like sledgehammers and so on, it says balance bar like 40, 45, and so on and so forth. That could be 1, 2, 3 more hits, heavy hits, to do balance bar damage to actually stun something. So you might actually get a few more changes off. So they're making them harder to stun, and they stun for less. So they're trying to combat the balance bar stuff going on with survivors. Puppeteer, possessed deadite stun changes, basic from 2 to 1.5, and elite from 2.5 to 1.5. So they dropped it a full second. And they changed the basic and elite balance bar. They increased them. 230 to 330 and 450 to 550. So more balance bar changes. Now, they didn't touch Elagos because Elagos, I don't think you can balance bar him. He literally just moves, goes invisible, goes into his iframes, and gone. So I understand why they didn't touch him. And then Necromancer, basics from 1.5 to 1, elites from 2 to 1.5, and boss goes from 2 seconds to 1.5 seconds. Their balance bar goes from 350 to 400 for the basic, 500 to 550 for elite, 700 to 800 for the boss. Balance bar changes. I agree with them. There have been many times where I just don't get to move. There have been many times where demons don't get to move when they're fighting against me. I like a lot of these changes. I like a lot of these buffs. I like a lot of these nerfs. My only issue is that I wish they would have fixed a lot in the game before they started messing with the numbers. That's what needs to happen. We need to stop being glitched in walls. We need to change the balance bar on the blue hunting rifle, because that 100 is not gonna matter when you're doing 250. You know, they need to change fear resistance on Ash's aura being map wide. They need to make sure, somebody said that Henry's aura is affecting ranged players. They're affecting hunters. So that needs to be fixed if that's a thing. There's so many things that need to be fixed. Kelly's bleed status going to her from her range to her melee. I would have liked to have seen a lot more changes before balances, but I am happy with these balances, and I am going to go test these bad boys out. So with that being said, my final thoughts on this. Why are they balancing things like this? Well, you got to look at it from a solo queue and from a pre-made, I guess, stance. If you're going in with a bunch of friends, or as they call it in DBD, a survive with friends, that's not what it is here. It's just a pre-made. You're fine. You're all talking. You're communicating. You're saying, you're all rolling in a nice little death ball, so on and so forth. These guys, in my opinion, are taking an Overwatch stance on this. Now, if you've ever played Overwatch, you'll know communication is key. Everybody's talking, whether they know you or not, whether you're friends or not. Everybody's in the in-game chat, and they're all talking. That is what they're trying to implement here. They're trying to say, we gave you the tools. We gave you the in-game communication. Use it. If you're going to solo queue, turn everybody off, and play the game by yourself, you will lose. These patches do not hurt people that communicate. Okay? If you communicate, talk to your team, stay with your team, and are an actual, good survivor, these changes are going to, it's going to be nothing. They're going to feel like they're nothing. That's the problem, though. There's so many socially awkward people out there. Who's actually going to talk to people in game chat? I don't talk to people in game chat, mainly because I stream and people are really toxic and I don't want to hear their bullshit. So if I go out and I solo queue and I get my ass kicked because I'm not communicating, I'm not salty about it. But there are people out there who are going to solo queue and not talk to anybody and not communicate, and their team's going to get the shit kicked out of them, and they're going to become toxic. So I think they made these patches based on pre-mades or based on the fact of communications. They did not they're not taking into consideration solo queue, because technically there is no solo queue. This isn't DBD. This is not Dead by Daylight. Everybody needs to I heard tunneling and camping and all that other stuff the other day. This is not DBD. This is a different game. I have put almost 500 hours into this game. I'm level 167 right now. I have put my time. I think I know what I'm talking about on a lot of this stuff. This is not DBD. There is no solo queue because they gave you in-game communication. Every team is a pre-made, and that's how I fight every team too when I play Demon. Now, is it my fault for not communicating with my teammate? Yeah. Am I hurting the game? Yeah. That's the way I choose to do it, because I choose not to deal with people's toxicity, and I stream. I don't feel like people using language, that I can't have on stream. So that's where the problem is going to lie, is all these people that queue up and don't want to talk to anyone, they're going to end up leaving the game, because this just made it so much harder for a person like that. So they're balancing the game towards people playing together, just like in Overwatch. And that's a really good reference, because that's another game that you need to work together as a team with healers, DPS, and so on and so forth, that you need to communicate with. So anyways, those are my thoughts. Those are my opinions. I thought I'd jump on this. It's only been out like 4 hours. I thought I'd jump on this and give y'all the information, put it out there for everyone. So that way everybody in my community and everybody out there has access to it. So I'll put the link that popped up in my Discord. I'll put that down in the description below, so that you can go check these changes out yourself. And until next time, guys, come by the Twitch, say hi, and so on and so forth. And yeah, like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all later. Have a good one.